Hey guys, so I thought it might be easier to do a video explaining kind of what's been going on the last couple of weeks and kind of where we are now and the information I found out at my doctor's appointment yesterday. So I'm a bit exhausted right now, plus just got off a very stressful phone call trying to get things paid for. So just please bear with me if I'm a little spacey. So, um, back in March, I received Medicare. It took me 2 years from getting disability to get Medicare. Up until this point, I've had Medicaid, and now I have both, but Medicare is my primary and Medicaid is my secondary. Um, so, whereas Medicaid had been paying for my infusions with no problem, up until that point, when Medicare became my primary, Medicaid would no longer pay. Well, Medicare's not paying either. So it has been a month-long process of trying to find loopholes, find ways to get things paid for, and many tears and screams of frustration and wanting to give up and so forth. In the middle of all this, I found out that I am losing my therapist. I have about 3 months left with her. She is trying to get it longer. She's moving to a different place, and she's trying to eventually turn that place into a nonprofit, but that could take a long time. So she's trying to find someone else to put me in contact with. I'm not really looking forward to starting over and such, but it is what it is. Anyway, so long story short, we today finally got my infusions covered. I will have to pay $35 a month for some of my supplies, but I'm willing to do that. These treatments are a game changer for me. They're the difference in being able to get out of the bed each day or not. And so that's a huge deal. The other thing is that for several months now, I've been having issues. I mean, I've been having issues for years with my joints, but my right hip has become particularly troublesome. And so I was seeing my regular orthopedic. He did an MRI finally, and it showed that I had labral tears, which is the cartilage between your ball and socket and your hip. So he sent me to a hip surgeon specialist to see if I needed surgery. He figured I would need surgery. I saw him yesterday, and the news was not so good. Basically, the good news is I'm not going to have surgery. We were very concerned with that, with me living in an upstairs apartment, and I would have to be non-weight bearing, which would drastically increase my risk of falls. So they did more x-rays yesterday at the appointment. Cass, please stop, sir. Thank you. And basically, he said that both of my hips are becoming completely calcified around the joints. And he said nothing short of a double hip replacement, both hips, would do anything, and he feels like that would even do more harm than good at my age. So we talked about my history and about the fact that they are highly suspecting connective tissue disorder for me. And I mentioned that several doctors and PTs have mentioned Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder. And he does suspect that I have it based off my history of growing up. I would have all kinds of injuries, of dislocations, subluxations, and my fingers especially were awful. My wrist, knees, ankles. It's my whole life growing up, everybody thought I was just very clumsy. And so he thinks that is the case, and that basically my body it's almost like an autoimmune response, but we don't know if it is or not. But basically my body is building up a defense, and that defense is to calcify my joints in order to protect from further subluxations and such. So while that would be a good thing, it's not, because I went from being able to touch my head with my foot to now I can't even bend over and touch my foot at all, which is very embarrassing to not even be 30. I'm also losing a lot of flexibility that I had in my fingers, elbows, wrists, ankles. So he can't say for sure, but he suspects that's happening in a lot of my joints. So he has no answers, no form of treatment. He said basically just pain management and injury prevention. He said the more injuries I have, the worse it will be. And this weekend alone, I fell 4 times, and then one time Monday. A little back pedaling here, but last week the apartment below us was being sprayed with chemicals, and I had a near anaphylactic reaction to it. I ended up going to the ER and needing multiple treatments plus steroid injections to get me back to breathing properly. And I am still recovering. That's been a week ago, either yesterday or today. So I've been having to use inhalers left and right, which has left me incredibly jittery, which is the cause of most of my falls right now. Falls are not abnormal for me, but it's been worse lately. So my at-home PT and OT both strongly recommended a wheelchair, and when I talked to my doctor, she finally agreed. And I am not strong enough to have a manual wheelchair as far as one to push. And guess what? It's okay. Good boy. My roommate's coming home, so he went to bark. Oh. So I lost where I was at. Cass, enough. So anyway, the PT evaluated me, and he thinks that I am not strong enough to push a regular wheelchair with my arms and joints. So he recommended either a power chair or an ultralight wheelchair with power assist. And the power chair I cannot put in my car, even if I got the hitch and everything. I wouldn't be able to use it to go, ride with other people in their cars, whereas the ultralight folds up very small and can fit in most cars. So my friend Rebecca knows somebody that's a wheelchair specialist and has gotten me in touch, and she is helping me start the process. She said it is very tricky to get Medicare to pay, but we're hopeful that we can get it to pay. It will take a couple of months to get it, but it'll be worth it because the chair will be specifically customized to my exact needs. I'm not thrilled about the idea of having to become dependent on a wheelchair. It won't be full-time, hopefully. It will be mostly on bad days, or on days that I'm going to be out of the house longer, or even in the house on bad days as well, or in general. So it's just another tool in my toolbox to help me live my life. I'm just not ready to be homebound yet, and so if it helps, it helps. It's something as simple as taking Kaz for a walk. It hasn't happened in several months, and it's nice to think about the possibility of being able to do that. So yeah, that's most of what's been going on with me lately. Just a lot to write up. So I figured an video would be better. I'm really exhausted. I've been on the phone for 2 hours earlier with insurance. So thank you all for your continued love and support. It means more than I can ever say. So yeah, I'll try to keep y'all updated as things happen. But I think I'm gonna go take a nap before physical therapy comes. All right, bye guys.